Oh, you're trying to broaden my horizons. Thanks. Thanks. Very kind of you. Highly appreciate it. Okay, so this was a very well played game by White in a way, just trying to get more space and development and, castle. All the principles were very well respected by White. Black has tried to improve the position by infiltrating in this f4 outpost that's quite typical that you want to infiltrate with in King's Indian style positions. And White had a huge opportunity here in this position. Instead of bishop e2, could have captured in f5 followed by g4, which would create a fork, and White would win at least, a pawn. Now, if you go back, we can still go for g4, I think, and this knight will have to go, and then White just has an extra pawn. This knight goes to e4. The bishop is restricted. This knight is very bad. Black would have a very difficult position to deal with, but unfortunately, White missed the opportunity. Fortunately for her, Shehnaz, she played the move bishop e2 in this position, which allowed Jayashri to play f4, a very important move here, because this really strengthens Black's position and actually gives her some counterplay. This bishop is trapped right now in e3, so you have to make the trade, allowing Black to create this great outpost on f4. After this outpost is created and the knight is placed there, it's a bit difficult for White to actually build up the attack further. Even if you have the g file open with the two knights protecting each other, it's very hard to actually open up the position. So, going through the game, a few moves that White played was trying to regroup a bit, but no matter how much you regroup, it's going to be difficult to really get this knight away. And a few moves later, actually, after b5, knight takes f4 was played. I think we might have missed this opportunity, but I think White had the opportunity to maybe take in c6 and take in b5. A win a pawn, but Shehnaz decided to go for this move, knight takes f4, which in a way, yes, you are managing to make a trade, but it helps Black quite a lot. This is a great idea for Black to try to open up the long diagonal and get the bishop in f6 and just kind of free up some space. That's why this trade was not good. Had Black captured with the knight in f4, White would still have a very good position. Of course, this is possible once again. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and takes in b5. But after e takes f4, the White's position is not as dominant anymore. Maybe there was some improvement here that Black would have played, which I think was capture. Queen takes, or maybe not queen takes because it allows some bishop g5 ideas. Maybe pawn takes, and then Black would capture here. Black's position is slightly more comfortable. But in the game, Jayashri went for bishop c6, and it was a really up and down game with chances on both sides really throughout the game. Bishop d4, very good, escaping with the bishop from the attack. And Jayashri tried to create her counter chances with an attack on the queen side. However, after these trades, ace 3, we're making a few more moves where White makes sure that her king is protected and then tries to create some space on the queen side. And in this position, White played a move that I wasn't quite sure about, took that bishop. I think we were discussing that the best move here was definitely not bishop b6. Bishop b6 was too materialistic, and I said, no, we're not going for that. This wasn't it. No, c5, my bad. c5, this would have been a great move for White, undermining the protection of the knight. And then because you cannot take, because you lose the knight, White has the opportunity to push c6, gain a lot of space on the queen side, and just win the game. Shehnaz went for knight takes e7, which gave Black a few more chances because that bishop wasn't doing much. So now the bishop is gone, and you're trading a dominant and strong knight in the center for a bishop that doesn't do so much. You could at least wait for the bishop to go to f6 before making that trade. But once that trade happened and bishop e5, pawn takes, White is still much better. White has definitely an extra pawn, that's the obvious part. A weak king, but these pawns are quite strong. You just need to find the right way to push them forward. So c5, very strong move, because these trades don't lead to much. We can recapture. We're keeping the b file closed. Our king will be safe. And now after bishop e6, bishop c4, another good move, trading an active piece. And after rook a4, which was a mistake from black side, unfortunately Shernaz made a huge blunder, after which the game is over. She went for the move queen takes e5. Instead of that, had she played, what did we say here? Oh, I don't know if we said anything. I was thinking trade, maybe, and then try to push these pawns forward, but maybe there's rook a8. This is an option that I was thinking about, but I feel there's something more to this position, maybe even queen b3? Queen b3 could be a move. The idea would be similar to queen takes e5, attack the rook and attack the bishop. So, now if you take rook takes e4, rook takes, eventually you'll capture. The more pieces we trade, the better it is for white. With these protected pass pawns, any endgame should be definitely going on white's favor. But unfortunately, Shernaz went for the wrong kind of pressure. She took in e5, missing this great move for black. If you're gonna watch this later, black to move and win in this position. Can you find it? And the move is rook to b4. A very strong intermediate move that forces white to move this king somewhere. The king went to c2, but if the king would have gone to a1, of course, we have this easy mate in 2. The king went to c2, and unfortunately, there's no more save for white. Black had probably an even faster way to win, but after king e2, because where else are you going to go? If you go king e1, you will allow the rook takes c1. So king e2, and now bishop g4 seals the deal, as the queen is won and black is on her way to win the game. I believe at this point, okay, black is still thinking what's the fastest way to mate. We got a mate in 2 here. What is it? Can you guys find it? That is the question. What's the fastest mate that you can find? I'll go for this. I think this is the simplest way. Queen f4, followed by queen h4. I wish rook h6 would work. Is mate in 2? No, rook h6 is not mate in 2. It's mate in 3. It will be mate, but it's not in 2, right? What do you want to do? This? No. Wait, which mate do you want to go for? Queen f4, not queen f. You still have to go for queen g5 or something, and then mate. Or queen f4. Yeah, there are a few ways, and that was definitely a very enterprising game with chances for both sides, ups and down, and kind of heartbreaking for one player, then heartbreaking for the other, back and forth. But I think that's the cool thing about chess. We can see a lot of creative ideas, lots of tactics, and I think that's why I love